So I was running a workshop today called Trauma and the Nervous System, but we actually split the workshop into two halves. We did trauma and the nervous system in the first half and trauma and the body, kind of looking at the next steps in terms of what happens with our nervous system, because, you know, it doesn't just exist in a vacuum, it exists within our body and all our different systems are connected. So we were looking at a bit more of the long-term impact on our body from different nervous system states. Therapy is evolving. You know, historically we were very much talking. Therapy was about sit down and talk, or lie on a couch and talk. And through the different evolutions, you know, we have play therapy, we have somatic therapies, and understanding the impact of the body on a client is crucial if we want to actually really genuinely understand trauma, to be able to empathize, to be able to normalize actually what's happening in a body when a client has experienced trauma in the past and think that they're now just weird, or they're freaking out, or actually they're scared of their own body because they don't understand why it's behaving the way it is. So yes, how the body is impacted, I believe, is a really crucial thing, which is why I've kind of shifted my focus recently to grounded grown-ups, so that people who are working around children, whether they're teachers or parents, grandparents even I work with, and therapists or social workers, are starting to get a hang of, well, I can learn all about neuroception and polyvagal theory and what that means in my clients' lives, but I'm saying, okay, but what does that mean in our lives? Because actually if we're still sitting on unhealed trauma from our own childhoods or whatever in our lives that we've not yet paid attention to and we haven't recovered from, then we carry that into every session with us and we bring it with us everywhere in our life. And ultimately, the statistics are showing that actually there's a cascade that goes on in our body. We may be one of the people working, asking the NHS for help. And it doesn't need to be like that, because there is hope for healing, there is recovery from trauma, but we need to actually start to take ourselves seriously. I really believe our bodies matter because we matter to ourselves and to all sorts of other people. Yeah, one of the things that I know a lot of people experience post-trauma is a sense that their body is carrying trembles, shakes, and it can really freak people out. And certainly it's one of the things I experienced after a car crash when I had been diagnosed with PTSD. As part of my healing and my recovery journey, actually learning why my body was shaking and the fact it was normal, a completely normal response from too much tension in my muscles, and what to do with that was part of my extended training. Even that, I think, is a really powerful thing that people need to understand, that, you know, we're British, but we can't solve trauma by saying have a cup of tea. We actually need to learn how the body needs to resolve what it's been through. I think the one thing I would want people to just really sit with and see what comes for them is the fact that trauma is a fact of life. And this is something Peter Levine says, but it doesn't have to be a life sentence. And when we understand actually the long-term impact of what trauma can lead to in terms of physicality, disability, disease, it can feel like a life sentence, and it can feel like we're struggling with all these different symptomologies. If we don't trace that back to understanding our nervous system, understanding degeneration within our cellular systems, and go back to where did that start, you know, it's the most exciting thing, actually helping people heal and seeing that the disease or the whatever struggle their body was experiencing just resolves. It's not an issue anymore because they've healed their trauma. And there's hope. There's always hope. But we have to show our courage to actually make that journey for ourselves.